So, today we're going to dig into a pretty urgent manifesto for our time. It's called The Technological Republic, a new book from Palantir CEO Alex Karp. And let me tell you, it makes a bold claim that the future of Western democracies isn't just going to be decided in parliaments anymore, but by the very software we build. Okay, so let's just jump right into the book's central, most provocative question. Just think about that for a second. It really gets to the core of the whole argument here, that liberty, freedom, it's not just a political project anymore. It has become a technical one. All right, so how did we even get to this point? Well, the book kicks things off by diagnosing what it sees as the core problem, that America's engine of innovation, Silicon Valley, has really lost its way. It's strayed far from its original purpose. This timeline, it just lays out the changing soul of Silicon Valley so clearly. It all started with this grand sense of national purpose. We're talking huge, ambitious projects like defense systems, the space race, the birth of the internet. Then you see the shift. First, it was all about empowering the individual, the personal computer, that whole hacker ethos. And then it kind of slid into what we see today, pure consumer convenience. And this is where the contrast just smacks you in the face. The original mission, it was all about tackling these massive nation-building challenges with the government as partners. And now, the goalposts have completely moved. Now it's about maximizing clicks, getting that ad revenue up, and hitting quarterly growth targets. And that old partnership, it's often become tense, even adversarial. I mean, lost in Toyland. What a perfect way to put it, right? This phrase from the book just captures the whole critique. The argument is that we have some of the brightest minds on the entire planet focused on engineering these fleeting digital toys, while the really hard, nation-defining problems are just left on the shelf. And, this didn't happen in a vacuum. It all ties back to something deeper, the cultural reason for this shift. The book calls it a widespread fear of taking a principled and, sometimes unpopular stand. Okay, check this out. It's a real tale of two moments, a stark contrast in conviction. Back in the 70s, you had leaders defending these fundamental principles, even when it was incredibly difficult and unpopular. Now, fast forward to 2023, and you see leaders hesitating, unable to give a straight answer on a clear moral question. It just highlights this broader cultural shift away from holding firm beliefs. So this is all laid to what Karp calls technological agnostics. These are the innovators who build these world-changing tools, but then throw their hands up and claim they're totally neutral. It's like when a social media giant says, hey, we're just a neutral platform connecting people, while their algorithms are literally rewiring our society. They're building powerful things just because, and it's created an industry that's kind of lost its moral compass. And the result? Well, the book has this amazing metaphor for it. It's like our whole society is a balloon cut loose. By letting go of a shared story about who we are and what we actually value, we've become culturally adrift. And what rushes in to fill that void? Consumerism. Okay, so this isn't just some, philosophical debate. This cultural drift has huge, real-world stakes. And that brings us to the new reality we're facing, a new global arms race. But this time, it's being fought with code. The argument is simple, but it's a game changer. The 20th century? Yeah. That was one with tanks and missiles, with hardware. The 21st century? The book argues it's going to be one with software, with superior algorithms and autonomous systems. The very nature of power has changed. But here's the crazy part. When you actually follow the money, it tells a totally different story. We say the future is all about AI, right? But look at the 2024 defense budget. A tiny 0.2% goes towards AI development. That's it. The vast majority is still poured into the hardware of the last century. It's a stunning disconnect. And that really drives home one of the book's most powerful warnings. Our democratic values, things like freedom, they're just words on a page. They're just slogans. If we don't build the actual digital infrastructure to defend them in this new era. All right, so if that's the diagnosis, what's the cure? What's the solution? Well, according to the book, it all starts with a fundamental shift in how we think and how we build. It means adopting what it calls an engineering mindset. The book pulls this really cool analogy from nature. A swarm of bees, an X-swarm. Think about it. A swarm doesn't have a central commander, right? There's no CEO bee telling everyone what to do. Yet, it self-organizes to solve incredibly complex problems with amazing speed and flexibility. It's all about pushing the decision-making power out to the front lines. So, how do you actually build like a swarm? It really boils down to three key ideas. First, you decentralize decisions. You empower the small teams who are closest to the problem. Second, you embrace improvisation and rapid change over sticking to some rigid plan. And third, you have to build a culture where challenging the consensus isn't just allowed, it's actively encouraged. So the big question is, how do we take this powerful mindset and scale it up to a national level? The ultimate goal here is to build a society where our technology is intentionally designed to reinforce our democratic values, not chip away at them. And this is the roadmap for how we get there. It's a pretty clear call to action. It says it's not enough for our tech to just be powerful, it has to be principled. That means building AI that's aligned with our values. It means protecting our data with our own sovereign infrastructure. And it means demanding that a moral architecture is built directly into the code from day one. And look, this isn't just a job for the coders, right? The point is, building this better technological future, it takes a totally new kind of person. It requires this deep fusion of technical skill and humanistic wisdom. We need builders who are as fluent in ethics and history as they are in Python. Which brings us to the final and maybe the most important question of all. The book argues that technology is never neutral. It will either be shaped by our democratic values or our society is going to be shaped by the values of something or someone else. And the choice, for now at least, is still ours to make.